Welcome to the Gold Standard here on the 440 Sports Network. I am Braden Gall. You can follow me on the internet, maybe, at Braden Gall.
I'm Emma Lingan. You can follow me on the internet, maybe, at Emma_Lingan.
Normally, this is this part of the show where I would say we have so much to get to today on the show. We are going to look at the Nashville Predators schedule. I know we had some conversations around the schedule release video, but we'll touch on the actual interesting moments of the schedule, including a trip to Europe, which I am utterly fascinated with now that I am a highfalutin international traveler, Emma. We'll discuss. Unfortunately, I will be in Europe like 3 weeks earlier, and I'm kind of pissed that I didn't plan it better.
Unfortunately, I'll be in Europe. Ugh.
I know, a little bit of a humble brag, but it's
Where
fine.
are you going to be?
We'll discuss. Okay,
all right.
There are some. This is the point of the season where the point of the summer where we can kind of just do whatever we want. And we wanted to look at some of the numbers that are coming up. I have 45 records for the Nashville Predators that are tracked by Hockey Reference, and I have a quiz and a game for Emma to see how well she's going to win or learn or know the record book for the Nashville Predators. A few of them could be broken this year, so we'll get to some of that coming up on the show. I know there was a verdict in the trial, and I know you have strong emotions about all this, as should everybody else. So I'll ask you delicately about that coming up as well. So we'll have some fun today on the show. And if you want to get into the comment section and you want to drive some of the questions, please do so. We had a projected starting offensive lineup with Joakim Kemmel in the starting lineup as projected by Nick Kieser on Lower Broad Hockey. So check that out. I'll get your thoughts on that because that's kind of the only that's like the one big camp battle that's coming, and we've kind of talked about it already. So Kieser's weighed in, and his prediction is Joakim Kemmel will be the starting third line winger. I'll get your thoughts on that coming up. So Shotgun Willie's Barbecue, of course, open today, Wednesday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And Sinkers Beverages are lovely and amazing, wonderful local sponsor, 4-time liquor store of the year, and 40th birthday party coming up next Saturday, August 9th, which is Tomato Fest. I don't know if they planned that the best way they could have. But if you go to Tomato Fest, which is awesome, on Friday and Saturday, of course, in East Nashville at 5 Points, it's a rite of passage for our children and our family and those of us who live over here. Tomato Fest is super fun, great live music. Tomatoes are the state fruit, and of course, the best tomatoes in the world are grown here. My wife is a tomato snob. I have become a tomato snob. But if you get hot during the day, because you will, because it's hot as hell right now, swing by Basement East at 5:30 after you're done having some Bloody Marys. Come down to Basement East and celebrate the 40th birthday party of Sinkers Beverages. $10 ticket. That is all going to charity. You're going to get drinks and food and great music, and it's going to be a good hang, and it'll be indoors with air conditioning. So it's an easy way to enjoy Tomato Fest and then just walk. You don't even have to go anywhere. You just walk down a couple blocks away and come to the Sinkers Beverages birthday party at Basement East. Have you ever been to Tomato Fest, Emma?
I haven't, and it's on my list. I know I've wanted to go the last couple years, and then I wanted to go this year, but I will unfortunately be out of town, so I'm going to miss it.
Well, you have to explain to my daughters, well, you will not throw candy at them during the parade. Or maybe they're supposed to throw it at you. Aren't you supposed to throw the candy out of the parade?
Yeah, isn't that how that works?
Okay, never mind. They are going to be throwing the candy out at people. They love that. The problem is they don't want to get rid of the candy. That is the problem. You have to teach them the dynamics here. No, like all the kids, all the schools get to do a little parade in the morning, and Friday night is actually the best. So if you're in town Friday night, come on over and hang out with us Friday night. That's because after the sun goes down, it's a little bit more manageable on Friday night. And then the music goes later and stuff. It's cool. So drinks are awesome. It's a great hang. Anyway, Sinkers Beverages, they always have a table at Tomato Fest as well. So come swing by and say hello and come see us. All right, let's get the bad stuff out of the way, and then we'll get back to the fun stuff. Does that sound okay?
Sure. Let's talk about bad stuff. Does that sound good?
What do people need to know about this case and how it unfolded? And like, just give people like the elevator pitch on, if you don't know much about this and you haven't been following it, what is it that people need to know about what happened in this particular case?
So the case was, it initiated sort of as an internal investigation with Hockey Canada, with the members of the 2018 World Juniors team for Team Canada, of something that happened the night of, I think it was like a gala, a Hockey Canada event. So it wasn't like during the tournament, but it was members of the team from that tournament. And something that happened with a woman and then 5 members of the team. Again, it was first actually brought to Hockey Canada, and there is ample proof that it was covered up, leading to Hockey Canada, the leadership at the time, to step down, and now they're under new leadership because of that.
How Joel Quenneville of them.
Right. And then the case got reopened by the Crown. So it became a case in again, I don't.
The Crown is such a great. I'm going to interrupt you to try to lower the temperature of the conversation a number of times.
Yeah.
Just, you sound so professional saying, "Oh, it was reopened by the Crown."
Yeah.
Which I assume is the Canadian authorities.
It's the Canadian like federal government. I don't know. Like I don't know how to like what the equivalent would be, but yes, it became a legal case, and it wasn't just a private investigation. For that to happen, there needs to be pretty good evidence, because a lot of people, the arguments that they're making is that, oh, well, anyone can just claim anything and try to ruin someone's life. And it's like, no, I can't just say that Braden punched me in the face and then it becomes a case with a trial. Like, there needs to be substantial evidence to that, like for that to even get to that level. So that's just one thing I will say. Now, I will fast forward through the details of the trial, many of which are...
If you want to go read it, you can go read it about the details. Yeah.
You can go read it. But at the end of the day, verdict was announced on Thursday. Verdict is that the 5 players, one of whom, former Nashville Predator, by the way, for a hot second, Cal Foot, found not guilty. And so many people's immediate first question, the first thing they cared about was, okay, so can they sign with my favorite NHL team now? And it's like, okay, is that really... That's what we've taken away from this entire thing, is like, all right, cool. Now that inconvenience is out of the way, can we sign this accused sexual predator to our favorite team? Now, immediately people they throw it back in people's faces and say like, well, not guilty. And it's like, well, that's called hero worship, and we believe what we want to believe. Well, and I'm not... Listen, I fully understand that the burden of proof was not met for this particular case, but not guilty doesn't mean innocent. And I think that that's the important thing to keep in mind here, because I am not saying, because this is another thing that gets thrown in my face a lot, is like, oh, you just think that we should believe all women, anything that women say, we should just believe it. And it's like,
maybe most women.
I mean, in this case, that's not at all what I'm saying. It's
right.
What I'm saying is
I'll say we should believe most is what I'm going to say.
I don't think that you should just automatically believe anyone who cries victim, but the fact that this got to this case, it got to this level, and the fact that it, like, again, even if the sexual assault verdict, even if that was found not guilty, like, it, again, burden of proof not met, fine.
Sure.
But there are so many other details that came out as part of this investigation that should be so disturbing to people. That even if it wasn't found to be, illegal activity or whatever it is, it's, I mean, and the way that the case was carried out, it was horrible. There was a lot of victim blaming, a lot of victim shaming. I think that it really, it's
a very predictable cycle, unfortunately.
Extremely predictable. Verdict did not surprise me whatsoever. And I think that it'll deter a lot of people, a lot of victims, from coming forward. And
that's an important point. That's an important point, because I think what you need to understand about this type of stuff broadly, not this case specifically, because I'm not well read on this, and I'll just admit that. You just need to kind of know the trends about this type of stuff. And it's the same thing with the youth, the kids stuff. When we talk about the kids in hockey and how the kids have been treated, like, you just have to understand the issue a little bit more with more nuance versus the specifics of the case sometimes. And that is sort of the percentages of cases that get reported versus the percentages of cases that are guilty versus the percentage of cases that are generally perceived to be frivolous, which is extremely small. It's a very small number. When it comes to younger people, child abuse, for example, which is not this, but in general, I've been on a board for 15 years. I have a lot of expertise on how this issue gets reported and sort of the rules of the road. And when it comes to kids, for example, they don't know how to lie about this stuff. They don't. So I know that grown adults do occasionally, but like by and large, just understand the issue a little bit better before you go running your mouth on a social media platform. I think is probably what I would say, which is the vast majority of it's almost impossible to prove a he said, she said moment in general with facts. And so not guilty doesn't mean innocent, and it doesn't mean anything. It just means that there was the key is I think I want to, like, for 1 second, I want anyone who's listening to us being like, oh, listen to these idiots. Just put yourself in that person's shoes before making the decision to report this stuff. And just say to yourself, what do you think is going to happen to my life if I do this? Am I going to just have this amazing, spectacular life after this that's going to really benefit me and make me happier? Or is perhaps I'm doing this because I felt like something was wrong? Just for 2 seconds, think about the pre-decision-making process before reporting something like this. Because a woman's life doesn't get better when this stuff happens.
Don't speak with any sort of authority on a topic with which you have no authority. It would be like me as a white woman saying that I completely understand how it feels to be the victim of racism. No, I don't. I can have my own feelings about it, and I can denounce racism, but I can't speak about that with any sort of authority. Like, I know what it's like, because I don't. And so that's one point. I think the other point here is that you mentioned it was predictable. The entire thing was very predictable. Why? Why was it so predictable? Because the system is built in favor of those men, and the system, not all men, well, in some ways it is, but in this particular case, the system was going to favor the accused because, again,
that's how our system of government and law and justice is set up. That's just what it is.
I get it. And again, there's so many people who don't understand the line.
Well, at least it used to be. I don't know.
Dude,
you can just you can be I don't want to get into pardons. I don't want to get into
it. Hey, we're talking about the Crown, okay?
Are we talking about Epstein again?
No, I think that, I mean, there are a lot of things that I could say and a lot of things that I have said about this, but what I find very intriguing, intriguing is the nicest way I can think to phrase that, is the fact that people get so emotionally charged and so vehemently defensive of these men who they have never met and men that they don't know. And they just want so badly to believe that they're innocent, to the point where they are declared innocent in this verdict. People are going around on social media acting like it's a personal victory for them, and they're dunking on people as if their favorite team just won the Super Bowl last night. It's like, hell yeah, take that. And it's like, now hold on a second. I know why I have very strong personal feelings about this case. Why do you feel so strongly about this? It's because you want the reassurance that this system is going to work in your favor if you were to ever commit the same sort of atrocity.
Don't you realize that most wars and almost all violent crime is committed by women? Don't you know this?
Yes.
Don't you know this?
Well, and we just do it because we want attention to make our lives better.
Most sexual abuse is done by women, obviously. Most sexual assault, mostly women. Violent crime, mostly women. Homicide, mostly women. Wars have been started historically by mostly women.
Yep. No, people just want to know.
Let's have some fun.
People just want to know that if they mess up and act like terrible people, that the system will be in their favor.
So, like, that's
that reassurance.
I know we're like really deep into a heavy topic now, and I don't know if it's like I wouldn't go so far as to say that like people want it to be like they want the system to allow for their own misbehavior and sort of crossing lines and pushing boundaries as much as it is like I don't know what it is about this. Like the Jameis Winston topic when I was covering that in the college football levels, like it doesn't matter what it is. Deshaun Watson, like it doesn't matter what it is. People are just instinctually like, oh, he didn't do anything wrong. And it's just like, why is that our default setting? Anyway, all right. I
Well,
wanted
and the
you to be
fact
the
that
voice of this. So
well, and the fact that people will say, like, to someone like me, they'll say, "Well, you weren't there. You don't know what happened." It's like, neither do you. Why is your opinion any more valuable than mine?
that Twitter
Like,
account gives them power. The keyboard allows them to
yes,
feel that way.
yes,
Josh and
especially if they pay Elon for the blue check mark, it gives
that's
them
true.
even more
That's
power.
true. Daniel, we will talk hockey. All right. I just wanted to get that out of the way because I know it's an important topic in the hockey world. And obviously, I appreciate
And
your
in the world,
and in the
period.
world, and I appreciate your perspective on that. So I hope everybody, you know what, we're gonna lighten the mood now, and we're gonna have fun the rest of the way. But I did want to talk about that. Sinkers Beverages, Shotgun Willie's Barbecue are two great sponsors. Go support them and come out to hang out with us on next Saturday, August 9th. And we'll have a big old 40th birthday party bash at Basement East at 5:30. Tickets are $10. All the money goes to charity. So cool stuff. Come hang out. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation with Gallagher about the prospects. I did see the link on Lower Broad Hockey to, is it Ellis? Ellis's prospect rankings. Also, number 3 in the prospect list. 1 and 2 are Martin and Molendyke. I would like you to tell me which one you like better. I think Martin belongs at number 1. I think Molendyke belongs at number 2. I say that as captain and chairman and president and CEO of the Tanner Molendyke fan club. Number 3 was David Edstrom on Gallagher's list. And when he and I talked about it, I was like, explain yourself, sir, why you think he is so high on your list. And then Ellis comes out with him at like number 3 also. So people very high on David Edstrom being a 200-foot center that could contribute for this team relatively quickly. So just your thoughts on Martin versus Molendyke and maybe any other prospect stuff you might have before we get into some other stuff.
Well, I will just say I don't think that it's completely fair to compare the two because you're literally comparing a center and a defenseman who are in two different stages of their development trajectory. So I don't know that it's totally fair to say far and away, oh, yes, this one's better than the other, or this one deserves to be number one. I think if we're talking in terms of overall impact on this team, not just this franchise, like for years to come, I would give the edge to Martin at number 1, but I also would not like I wouldn't be mad about Molendyke at number 1 either. I
Right.
think
Right.
he's obviously they've both got a lot of things going for them, like in that case for number 1. So
I thought the reaction, we've talked about this a little bit. I thought the reaction by the fan base in the moment on Martin was probably a little overcooked.
a
And then
little.
I think they kind of came around, but I still don't think. And having seen Cam Ward now in a week and a half of practice, pads were on the last 2 days. Like literally at Nissan Stadium, like he was getting Beatles-esque type of treatment walking around the outside after practice. Somebody, like a lady, handed a baby to Cam Ward, and I'm like, that's very different. And he wasn't even like, if you really dive into the analysis of Cam Ward, he's not viewed as the number 1 overall pick last year's draft or the next year's draft. He's kind of just number 1 this year because the Titans were desperate for quarterback. And he happened to be the best quarterback available. Very good player, could be great. But if you go based on scouting reports, like he's not better than the guys that are coming out next year and the guys that came out the year before. So he seeing this like Beatles type of reaction up close and then being at the draft party with everybody, all the Lower Broad hockey people and all being like, what? Like it was, I'm curious. My question is sort of like, if Michael Misa was the pick and they had the number 1 pick, is that the only difference here? Is that Cam Ward was number 1? What number 1 has this kind of like aura about it that's different than every other pick. And if the Preds had taken Misa, which we all kind of agree is a better player, a higher graded player, a more talented, gifted player than Brady Martin, are we seeing a different reaction? Like the Titans were far worse at football than the Predators were at hockey. And they still got
well,
number 1, and
and
he's getting
The Titans had also been burned by, like, very recently by the Will Levis experiment, and so I think
true.
that certainly contributed. Like, if you can I don't know, if the I don't even know what an equivalent would be, but if it's like if the Predators were supposed to have this player who was supposed to like save their franchise and he was just god awful. I mean, last year the entire team was god awful, but that's a little different. I think that it's just like with the NHL draft and that class, like there was a consensus number one. It was Matthew Schaefer, and now he was a defenseman. And we can all agree that the Predators needed forwards, they needed a center. But I think that, if the Predators had picked at number one, there would have been some eyebrows raised if they hadn't picked Schaefer.
You think so?
Now, I mean, yeah, I don't
I
think
think
that
I
there
think
would have been.
if they take Misa, I don't think anyone reacts over in a big. I think people are excited.
That's why I said just
Okay.
eyebrows raised.
Okay.
That's
All right.
just
Fair enough.
watch
Fair
them
enough.
with eyebrows raised. But I think that by the time you got to honestly be on 1 and 2 in this draft class, it was kind of open season. And like we have been
Yeah.
talking about it all
Yeah.
the way leading up to it, that it really could have gone either way. And so there was a lot of, oh, are they going to have to pick between Martone and Hagens? Well, probably not, because one of those guys will be off the board by the time they get to number 5. So the decision will be made for them. And then what happened? That was the narrative going into the entire thing. Then what happened? Both of those guys were still on the board, and the Predators took neither one of them. So I think that that kind of fed into this whole narrative that, oh, this was a bad pick. But I think in reality, again, to use the Titans analogy again, you're going with what you needed the most, like what Nashville as a franchise needed the most. They needed their quarterback. They needed a like franchise top 6 center. Now, a lot of people believe that Hagens could have been that. And now everyone for the rest of time is going to be watching Hagens. Everyone in Nashville is going to be having their eyes on James Hagens. But again, if you're like, there were some concerns. I mean, not concerns, but like if you're just looking at what the Predators need, like he had the high skill, but he didn't have the physicality. He didn't have the, the body type that they were looking for necessarily. And that's the way the rest of the league is going. So I think that overall, too, you have to consider the fact that, and I said this however many weeks ago, that when the Predators picked Brady Martin, it didn't fully click for me until after I met him and talked to him. I was like, oh, they just picked their next captain.
Yeah.
That's what this was. And they need that. That's important.
And I think I said that like the Saturday morning, right afterward as well, and then the very next show. And a couple of good comments here. I think number one, also, you got people know who are hockey fans. There's like this, hey, we got a draft pick. And then you're like, all right, you put it on the back burner for a couple of years because they're not coming up. Like that's just also part of this. Whereas a number one pick in the NFL, even if you're picking them 10th in the draft, is expected to start right away, like day one, week one. And if he doesn't, it's kind of a surprise. So that's clearly a big part of this, sort of baked into the inherent differences of the two. It's just because I've seen it so recently that I saw the reaction be so muted and so questioning. And then the reaction where I actually like, it's weird. I think there are less questions about Brady Martin being a great player than there are about Cam Ward being a good quarterback. I actually think Martin is a safer pick than Cam Ward is, but Cam Ward is getting Beatles treatment and Brady Martin is like not James Hagens. So it's funny. I understand all the reasons why. It's just hit me in the face the last couple of days being at Titans camp with how much coverage. And I know some of this is NFL. I get it. So I understand all of that. So Josh says, save the reaction video for when Martin is a superstar. Agree. And this is part of the issue here, Lop. He says Ward was just the best you could get at number one. That's kind of the problem, that he's getting like Arch Manning treatment. He's getting like, Trevor Lawrence, number one, Caleb Williams. Like he's getting the definitive prospect, greatest in the world treatment when he was kind of just the best you could get at that position. And I'm not saying that to try to knock the kid. I think he's got a lot of really cool things going for him. So I just found it very interesting that as I'm seeing it unfold in front of me. So I want to get your thoughts on that. Do you think this is from Daniel? Do you think the Preds will roll with the centers currently on the team, or will they trade for someone? If so, who? Anyone out there besides Rossi? I don't see a big hockey trade coming. I think that and this was ESPN sort of their story. They did an article. They power ranked the NHL teams, and Predators were 29th, I think, and their storyline was pretty vague and broad in general, which is just like they did this big thing last summer and they're trying to do the opposite this summer, which is kind of stay muted and under the radar and a little bit more nibbling around the edges, which I think is probably the right approach this summer. So, yeah, I think they roll with what they've got. You?
Yeah, I mean, unless you're somehow able to get a Rossi who, like, let me just be clear, I'm not forecasting that. I think that's highly unlikely that the Predators end up with him. I've had people asking me, like, so are the Preds out on Rossi now? I'm like, I don't think they were ever in on him. I think we, as people who follow the Predators, are like, yes, go get this guy. But
Interesting move. Yeah.
yeah, but I think that, like, I don't know that the Predators were ever in on him. But yeah, I don't see, I think it's a good thing. Like you were talking about, obviously last summer was the big summer. That was the year to make the big moves. I think
It
the
went
worst,
swimmingly.
yes, yes. So I do think that the worst thing that you could do now, maybe not the worst, one of the worst things that you could do now would be to overcorrect and overreact and make more big moves to try to offset. Not that, and here's the other thing too.
Chase good money with bad money.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing too. I think that there weren't a whole lot of big moves to be made this year anyway. Like the free agent class kind of sucked because
Could have
a
traded for
lot
Mitch
of,
Marner. Made
no,
Jeremy Gover very happy.
no. I listen, I think, well, that would number one imply that the Predators were a Mitch Marner away from being a Stanley Cup contender.
That's all they
And
needed.
no,
That's all they
it's
needed.
not. It's not.
Championship. Vegas
Anyway,
might have been a Mitch Marner away from winning a championship.
Vegas, yes, very different story. I
Right,
think
right.
that's a much better fit. Nashville, not so much. So I think that you have to look at, when it comes to the moves that could be made, because I think I mean, people are always going to squawk about something, but I think, some people were upset. Well, why Barry Trotz didn't improve the center depth this offseason? It's like, okay, but look at what was available. How would he have done that? I mean, how would he really have done that? I mean, the top center on the market was Sam Bennett, and he wasn't leaving Florida.
Right, right.
And so,
I think it's making it worse. That's the problem.
yeah.
Maybe
No,
because like you get rid of Sissons for a player that some people don't necessarily know what he's going to be. I think they're paying Nicholas Hague to be a top 4 defenseman based on the paycheck, and that's what they think about him. And certainly the role is going to change and be different for Vegas than it would be for Nashville. There's no question. But I think it's the fact that for me at least, it's a mainstay who does so many good things for you. And like while Eric Holla does some of those things, you're not replacing Sissons, and you lost a piece that was so dependable and predictable and consistent at so many important things that you've now removed that piece too. So your number 1 center is not really number 1 center, and he's older. Your number 2 center is not really developed into a number 2 center yet, and you traded away your number 3 center. I just think I get why people are frustrated. So
I get it too. And I think in the immediate term, no, it does not make this team better. However, you have to look at it in terms of the Predators. Like, Colton Sissons was not, I mean, as much as we didn't want to believe it, Colton Sissons not a long-term piece here.
I
His
hear you.
contract was going to be up at the end of the year anyway. If the
Hurt.
Predators, I know, listen, huge Colton Sissons fan, but I think if they were not, if they were unless they were firmly in a playoff spot by the trade deadline this year, he was gone anyway.
I know.
Now you have Holla as well, who can also be traded at the deadline, or worst case, you have him for a year and then he's gone. So I think that people look at the immediate term, they have the reaction, which is a valid one. Is this team better without Colton Sissons on it? I don't think it is, but at the same time, you have to look beyond this year. Just look beyond this year and assume that Colton Sissons was going to be gone anyway. Now you've at least gotten another center for the time being, who is also not going to be a long-term piece here. He's gone.
Right.
I'll be shocked if he makes it a full season here. I think that you're still one thing. Now, you can criticize Barry Trotz for a lot of the moves that he's made, and I think he deserves criticism for a lot of those moves. But one thing that you have to give him credit for, or at least that I give him credit for, is that a lot of the all of the moves that he's made, with the exception, if you want to kind of take it this way, of Askarov. I think all of the moves he's made to improve the team have not come at the expense of the future. He hasn't given up a ton of draft picks or capital. He hasn't completely hamstrung this team financially. The cap is still going up. I just think that everyone is reacting yeah, of course, bringing in Stamkos and Marchessault went horribly, at least for the first year, much worse than it was supposed to. And so I think that that's where a lot of the reaction is coming from. And I totally get it. But I think at the end of the day, he has not. People act like Barry Trotz has just completely torpedoed the future of the franchise. And it's no, he may have torpedoed the right now. That could be valid, but I don't think he's torpedoed the future.
What's ironic is that there's a big chunk of the fan base that's okay with him torpedoing the now to build pieces for the future. And I agree, other than Askarov, that's the only move that affected the long-term future. And even then, he still got, isn't that where they got Edstrom? They got Edstrom in the deal, right?
You got Edstrom, you got another first-round pick, you got Magnus Krona, which whatever, but I mean,
there are if you read Ellis and some other folks, there are people that are very high on this farm system. Just they're very high on it. So I think there is reason for optimism to get excited about it. What year of college does Ivankovic start learning Finnish? It's from Logan, I believe. Michigan State, is that where he's going? I believe. A lot of high marks for him in the prospect scouting community for sure on that draft pick.
And a perfect Predators pick because he was a huge fan of Pekka as a kid. So it's of course the Predators picked him.
Edstrom and Riker Lee could end up being a very good return. There you go. So that's possible. That's possible. All right. Sinkers Beverages, Shotgun Willie's Barbecue. Support our good local sponsors. All right, let's talk milestones here real quickly. I know that's on the headline of the of the YouTube page. So I want to play a little game with you first. I want to play a game with you, which is there are 45 records tracked on Hockey Reference, which is the website. And if I could channel inner Michael Gallagher, he would say, "Oh, Hockey Reference is terrible." He would poo-poo the whole idea. But it's the easiest place to find 45 records all on one page, all career historical leaders in Predators history. There are 9 or 10, about 10 different players that own a career record for the Nashville Predators. 3 of them have almost all of the records, as you might imagine. Roman Josi has 12 career records. Philip Forsberg has 9. Pekka Rinne has 14. That's a lot of them. That's most of the records. So I want you to tell me. I want to see if you can name any other player that has a record, a career record, which also includes a lot of fancy stats, as Adam likes to say, the fancy stats. So I'm not expecting you to do well on this. You are set up for failure. But I want to see. I want to see if you can get them.
Do you are you going to tell me what the records are?
Okay, we could do that. We could start that way, and I'll do the 2 goaltenders because that might be easier. So goals saved above every goaltending record is Pekka's except for 2. Okay. Goals saved above average is held by someone else.
That's got to be Saros.
UC Saros. There, ding ding. I don't have a sound effect for you. I wish I had a sound effect for you. Goals allowed adjusted is another one. There's one other goaltender.
I'm going to be so honest with you. I don't know what that means, but since there's only one other name that really makes sense here, I'm going to go with Vokoun.
Thomas Vokoun. There you go. You got it. Thomas Vokoun.
I don't know what goals allowed adjusted means, but good for him.
So Thomas Vokoun is the only other one. So there you go. That's 2. You got 2.
Yes.
All right. Skaters. Let's see here.
Okay.
Let's see if you can get plus minus. All-time record holder, Nashville Predators history. Plus minus.
Oh, I remember this being a thing a few years ago that it's not someone you would expect.
I think you might get this, but you didn't cover the team when this happened. And so I think he's got all the single season records for plus minus. So
Well, yeah, because like plus minus all time, you would think of like one of the big names, but I remember this being someone that's not like, shoot. Was it Ryan Ellis? Was it?
Ryan Ellis, look at
It was
you.
Ryan Ellis?
3 for 3. Very
Yeah, like
good.
only
Very
because
good.
I remember like reading about this or talking about this at one point, thinking it was like not who you would expect. That wouldn't have been my guess otherwise.
Well, he had like a couple of seasons where he was like plus 27. I think
Yeah.
the cup year and the President's Trophy year, I think he was huge. All right, penalties in minutes. Career. Again, Predators fans might know this one.
Penalty minute. Oh, now I'm trying to think of who would be like. Oh, Jordan Tutu.
Yes, 4 for 4. Yes. I love it. Okay, let's see here. Assists per game, points per game, and goals created per game. All the same player, and they have 3. This player has 3 records, which is the most records not named Forsberg, Yossi, and Rene.
Wait, it was assists per game, points per game, and what else?
Goals created per game, which I don't even know how they qualify that, but
I don't either. I don't know why I asked for that clarification. It doesn't matter.
I'm giving you the easy. We're working. It's going to get tougher. Assists per game, 0.65 assists per game, 0.98 points per game. Almost a full point per game player for his career in Nashville, which I will tell you was very short.
Paul Kariya.
Paul Kariya!
I wouldn't have gotten that.
You are a monster.
I wouldn't have gotten that if you hadn't said very short. So kind of cheated there.
Short-handed goals in their career with 11 short-handed goals all time. Nashville Predators history.
Short-handed goals.
You only have 3 more left. You want me to just give them to you?
Well, now that I'm on a roll, I'm like,
okay,
now I
all right.
don't know. Short-handed goals. I don't know. Colton Sissons.
Greg Johnson with 11.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that guy. Shooting percentage. 18.5% is the all-time career record shooting percentage, which is an unsustainable shooting percentage for a career.
Yeah.
For the Nashville Predators, number 1 all time. This is completely random. You're not going to guess this one.
Okay.
Sergei Kostitsyn.
Yeah, no.
With 18.5. And then let's see here. Last but not least,
get a shooting percentage of 18.5%.
Last but not least, power play goals on ice against.
So that's
most
a really
power play
confusing.
Goals allowed.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's basically like the minus of the plus minus, but just for power play.
But
goals?
just for power play, yeah. Girl dad Dan Hamhuis. So of the 45 records, Hamhuis has 1, Ellis has 1, Tutu has 1, Johnson has 1, Kostitsyn has 1, Kariya has 3, Saros has 1, Thomas Vokoun has 1, and then Yossi, Forsberg, and Pekka own like 35 of the other 45 records, which makes sense. Now, Roman Yossi can get to 200 goals this season. He can, and if he gets to 20, I think he can pass Legwan and move into second all time. He can get to 200 goals. There's only a couple of guys, Forsberg and Legwan, I believe, are the only 2 that have 200 goals. Forsberg can get to 400 assists this year, which is interesting, and he can get to 700 points. But the thing that I thought was most interesting is that he has 43 career points behind Roman Yossi for the lead all-time in franchise history. And I could see Forsberg catching Yossi over the course of the next few years. And I don't know if Predators fans would care at all about that. I feel like they might just be like, sounds good. I know Yossi's the captain and beloved, but like Forsberg equally beloved. So,
but also, yeah, like it would be nice to have a forward hold those records, not a defenseman as well.
But I think Yossi being as good as he is, I don't think that.
Right.
I think
what I also find interesting about this entire conversation is of all these, now again, this is very much like oversimplifying probably, but just food for thought. The idea that there are 40, what'd you say, 45 records?
I think that's
Um,
for every. I think that's for every team. Yeah.
yeah, but not a one of them held by Shea Weber, who is in the Hall of Fame. And so there's a lot of questions about would Roman Yossi be in the Hall of Fame? Well, probably not because he never got a cup. And it's like, well,
I
just saying.
think people say Yossi's not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, people also say Pekka's not a Hall of Famer,
I
which
think there's more argument for Pekka than there's for Yossi.
I agree.
Meaning, sorry, let me rephrase that. I think Pekka will have a tougher time getting into the Hall of Fame. I
I agree.
think if the way people interact with other humans is like a tiebreaker, because it can be like the way you deal with the media can be a tiebreaker on these kinds of issues. If
Well,
it's a
that's why
tiebreaker,
there's
they're both in for sure at that
well,
point.
that's why there's a debate over Don Cherry. I mean, that's kind of it. It's like
Yeah,
otherwise it would be a shoe-in, but he's kind of an asshole.
yeah.
So
I think Yossi is. It's not. It's hard to. I think broadly the way I define Hall of Fame is: were you among the best players in the world at your position for your era? And that's a starting pitcher in baseball, that's a receiver in the NFL, or a goaltender in hockey. Like, like on any given moment, are you in the top tier of the best players in the world? You don't have to be the best. Like, was Pekka better than like Patrick Waugh or Martin Brodeur? Like, probably not. But like, and then that might not even be the right era. But like, you get what I'm saying. Were you among the best players at your position during your time? And I think Yossi, I don't think it's even like absolutely Yossi is one of the best defensemen of his generation. I think Pekka is it's a pretty similar response, which is I think he probably is among, but he's not like top 3 or 4. You know,
yeah,
they both have the one award. They both were on the team that got to the cup. They both won the President's Trophy. Yossi's career might end up being longer. I don't know, but I think Yossi's going to have an easier time to get in because he's flashier, and I think that maybe
I
that
agree.
that does it.
I agree. Well, and the fact that again, now going back to him holding all these like point records as a defenseman as well. But the fact that it's not what I love so much about Roman Yossi as a player is that yes, he is all like he's an incredibly gifted offensive defenseman, but he's also so freaking good in his own zone.
Yeah,
Like that's the way the game has gone. You see like Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar and those kinds of guys, which not to take anything away from them, they're fantastic. But if we're just talking about strictly defensive ability, I put Yossi over them. He's incredible in his own zone, but he also can really shoot the puck.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Totally agree. By the way, Yossi will get to 1,000 games, which seems
mhm.
like a cool milestone this year for Roman Yossi. So all of this stuff is awesome and exciting about Roman Yossi. It also means a couple more years, max. just for whatever that's worth. Scheduling, looking at the schedule. So I don't know. I think I think that's fun to look at this time of year. Scheduling October 9th. We've talked about the release. We didn't actually talk about any of the games. You've got the 7-game road trip, which is crazy. Basically 7 games. As soon as I think on December 20th, you got Toronto coming to town with Austin Matthews, and they play the Rangers in a back-to-back. And then that's right before Christmas, and then they're gone for the 7 days into the new year. So there's a long 7-game road trip right around Christmas time. You got the Florida Panthers coming on November 24th, which is the only trip that the 2-time defending champs will make to Bridgestone Arena. Tampa Bay, you've added yet another Lightning storyline to this with Nick Perbix, of course. October 28th, they will be in town. I want to know how big the rivalry gets between, and if they were smart, the 2 hockey clubs would agree to have like a mascot fight between the Mammoth and the Predators, because like fans are not. This is not going to go away. Emma, fans think that that Utah stole their teeth, and it's like uniforms are very people are very sensitive about uniforms. And Utah's first trip as the Mammoth is October 11th, right away, like first week of hockey. And it is going to be fascinating watching the 2 sweaters on the ice at the same time, just going at it. I think if they're smart, they would do something silly with the mascots and do like a wrestling match between the 2 mascots and just winner gets to keep their teeth. I think that'd be great.
That's the thing. It's silly, the whole thing, and that's
Right.
fine, but, like, let's just accept it for what it is. Like, it is fun. It's ironic, it's similar. if fans are really getting that upset about a team like stealing their mascot or stealing their logo, please go touch grass. Like I don't think it's like, oh my God, they're the same photo. It's like, no, I think it's just they're similar and it's okay.
All right. Okay.
They're
All
both
right.
prehistoric animals with tusks. I mean, that's and to be fair,
But why did they steal the prehistoric animal with tusks?
because well, listen, they tried not to. Mammoth was like their 50th choice after all that they went through to get through that. So
where do
yeah.
hockey players get their uniforms? New Jersey. Thanks, Nate. Appreciate you there. I didn't think someone could bring more dad energy than me to the show. But you've accomplished that quite easily, Nate. I do. Good to see you, buddy. All right. Of course, November 14th and the 16th through the 16th, they're going to play in Stockholm twice against Pittsburgh. And I have joked with my wife about going on this trip because it's like, oh, it's a business expense. I can, it's all tax write-off, and I can figure out a way to get a sponsor maybe to help out with a little bit of the cost, and then we can go and you could tag along, and we'll send the kids to grandma's house for a couple of days, and we'll go to Sweden in the wintertime. And she was like, you want to go to Scandinavia in November? I was like, kinda. She's like, no, I'm good. We will be in Europe I'm actually pretty pissed now that I'm seeing the actual dates. Like, we will be in Europe, I think 3 weeks before this. And I'm like, man, I did not plan this very well. Can I work from remote the entire time in Europe for those 3 weeks? Is that possible? No, we're going to Spain for 8 or 9 days to celebrate our 10-year anniversary and her 40th birthday party. So there we go.
Congratulations. Happy birthday. Feliz cumpleaños.
There you go. That's right. And that will be 3.5 weeks before, so I don't think I can make the trip work, which is a super bummer. I want to know who you want to play and where in the world.
Who I want to play?
If you're a Predator fan.
Oh.
And you're the who do you want to see
personally? No one.
Who do you want to see who would you like to see if you can cover a game? The Predators are playing a team or something anywhere in the world. For example, I think playing a game outdoors in the Swiss Alps to honor the Roman Yossi of it all would be hilarious and beautiful and amazing and spectacular, and it would be worth the trip over, I think, as a fan, to go see Roman Yossi play in a Predator sweater in Switzerland outdoor in the Alps. Come on. That would be incredible. I know there's lots of Swedish players, and that's why they're doing this in Stockholm. I get it.
Yeah. Well, it's also funny because the Penguins have 2 Swedish players as well, and both of them might get traded.
Before November?
I don't know. At this point, probably not. But I see. For me personally, I would want it to be an outdoor game because that's one thing that's still regrettably on my bucket list is I have not been to or covered an outdoor game.
What about the one here? Were you not in town
here
for that?
yet? It was right before I got here.
That was pretty cool. That was cool.
And then the year after I got here, Carolina got one. So it's I just keep missing them. I like that idea.
How about and I don't know which is closer, if it's Vancouver or Edmonton or Calgary, whoever's closest to Banff. What if you did a game in Banff, against a Canadian team, and you had Nashville and a Canadian team outdoors? Is it not Lake Louise? Lake Louise. Lake Louise, is that what it is?
That would be sick.
Oh,
and it would be God. Calgary. Calgary is the closest. Okay. And a lot of people kind of talk about Calgary as being the Nashville of Canada, although I think it's more like the Texas of Canada, but more Western cowboy type stuff. But
I feel like other than Toronto and Montreal, all of Canada is Texas, but cold.
But in the yeehaw kind of way, people think about Calgary as being the Texas or the Nashville, but yeah.
Kevin says it needs to be against a team with Corey Perry so that Brady Martin or Surin can truck him. All right. Let's be more constructive with your feedback. All right. Where else? I gave you Banff and the Swiss Alps.
You
I feel like those
did.
are good.
Those
I feel
are
like those are good
good.
ones.
Those are really good ones.
It's hard to do hockey games in like Mexico or the Sahara or Egypt or like I think something in Asia would be very cool, like something in like northern Japan, something like that would be
Well,
cool. How about Tibet? Let's get a hockey game in Tibet, dude. I am now an
at the foot of the Himalayas.
I am a base camp of Everest hockey game.
Oh,
I am now a lifelong diehard Arsenal fan. I have gone through a process this summer of selecting an EPL team, and they do preseason games
lifelong, yes.
They do preseason games all over the world. Aston Villa is playing in Nashville this weekend against Nashville SC, EPL team. They played in like Korea or something, South Korea, or I can't remember where they played. They just played like a preseason game. And I'm like, that makes the most sense, is play your preseason games all over the place and have fun with it. Travel them all over the place. Why couldn't you do one in like Sapporo, which is like Hokkaido is the bigger island above the main island in Japan? Like that would be awesome. Outdoor game in Japan, that's so cool.
Or, I mean, Japan would be cool.
On a battleship like college basketball, that's interesting.
Yeah. Korea would also be cool. Like southern, like in Busan, like on the ocean, like that would be a pretty.
You sound like an expert on the southern coast of South Korea. I'm assuming.
Well, I've been there. I've been there. So I've been there once, and therefore am an expert. So, but no, I honestly do think though, like doing it in a place like Mexico, maybe not an outdoor game, but like going to a place like Mexico would be cool. Like it would be a cool experience.
So what's interesting about Mexico is like you get to like Monterey and Mexico City and they're way, way, way high in the air. Like they're super high altitude, kind of like Denver. So I wonder if there are some elements of like a cold element there. What's interesting about Hawaii, which is fascinating, I spent 4 weeks on the Big Island, like in 2003, and when I was in college. And it is one of the only places where you can go from rainforest to snow in like an hour drive because it's a volcano. Now, I don't like that's also where they have all the like the satellites that study outer space and stuff is like right there because the sky is so clear and you're up pretty high. I bet you like it's snow capped. Like you can be sitting on the beach in like 78, 88 degree weather in a bathing suit and you look up and see the top of the mountain and it's got snow on it. And so it's a very interesting. I wonder if you could put a game. Now we're getting real creative.
You know, would be cool too. Would be, I mean, this would never happen, but
Kevin, what are we doing? In a Mayan city in the ball courts where they played to the death. Like Corey Perry would do well in that situation.
Playing to the death is actually not completely off topic from where I was going with this, which would be like inside the Colosseum in Rome. Like that.
I don't think it's big enough, is it?
No, but I'm saying just logistics. Whatever.
3-on-3, just a power play.
Yeah, we'll shoot out in the Coliseum. Why not?
Coliseum. That sounds fun. That sounds fun. These like massive soccer stadiums would be pretty cool to see a hockey game in, like in Europe or whatever. There's so many beautiful places that are cold that would work really well. I do think Stockholm is a beautiful town, and it's going to be a really awesome event to go to. So if those of you actually have the resources and time to get over to Sweden to watch your favorite hockey team play, that's a really cool trip. So. I just think Switzerland would just hit the mark a little bit. Like it's a little bit nicer place to go hang out from like a beautiful standpoint. You got the mountains, you got the Taida, Yossi. Like I just think I feel like the Swiss would be more like willing to get it over there. Like there's much more hockey culture in Sweden, right? So
well, when we did the exhibition game in Bern, holy shit. Like that was insane. It was like you would have thought it was the Super Bowl because we brought Roman Yossi back. I went to get coffee with Roman one morning and it was like it took us like 45 minutes just to walk down the street because we kept getting stopped. It's like walking with I don't know.
And he's not gonna not stop.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But like the king, we just started calling him the King of Switzerland because it's just like the hero's welcome he got, and it was so loud inside that building. Oh my gosh, like it was so loud, it gave me chills.
Maybe my idea is not that original since they've already done it.
Well, but doing it outside in the Alps or something would be cool.
That'd be sweet. All those beautiful lakes I see. I've never been to Switzerland, so I'm very jealous that you've been to Switzerland.
I've been a couple
times.
You've
been to Korea. How many countries have you been to?
I don't know.
I just got back from West Virginia. It's pretty dope.
There you go. I mean,
I'll see your Korea and your Switzerland, and I'll raise you the other Virginia.
Hey, almost heaven.
the other Virginia. No, New River Gorge is where we went. We went to New River Gorge. It was awesome, fantastic. Whitewater rafting, hiking. We did some pool time, did some relaxation, played some golf. Like, it was awesome. It's beautiful. It's like Smokies on steroids. It's the Alleghenies, which of course you know all about.
Yes.
You're from Pittsburgh, right?
Well, my family is, but yes, I know the Alleghenies. Did you stay in the raft the entire time, or were you?
Oh yeah. We didn't tip one time. I did. The 7-year-old does not help. The paddle with the 7-year-old. I got to like the class 3, and I was like, just hold it in the air. Just hold it in the air. No, we did not tip one time. Now, they also don't let you do, like, because they're 7 and 8, or my kids are like, they're not going to let you do the class 4s and the 5s and stuff. Like, you can't do the serious stuff. And so the boat, like, we were actually in the duck kayaks, which are like rafts, but like kayaks. So it's 2-person, which is way more fun than the big boat. But no, we did not tip one time. Guaranteed.
That's impressive.
Yeah, look at the here, I'll show you. This is going to be real bad, but I'll show you. Look, there we go.
Oh, look at you.
Look at that little girl's face. She's just like, yeah. All right. You chipped a friend's tooth once with a T-grip, and he shoved me out of the boat. Oh, you're talking about the paddle. Yeah. All the injuries in rafting do happen because of the paddle in the boat. That's like all the injuries from rafting. It's just what happens. All right, Sinkers Beverages. We've reached the end of the show at this point. Sinkers Beverages on August 9th. Come on out. And, of course, we've got more content coming for you for Lower Broad Hockey. And, of course, Shotgun Willie's Barbecue, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Wednesday through Sunday. Not open on Monday and Tuesday. They do the brisket better than anybody in the city. So come on out. Support them as well. Thanks for jumping in the comments, folks. Nate and Kevin and Josh and Lop and all you guys that are over there. Logan, Jeff, appreciate all you guys for Daniel for chiming in and hanging out with us. This is obviously the slowest part of the year for the hockey team, but training camp is not very far away. It's not. So thank you, Emma. My name is Braden Gall. Everybody out there, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening. We will talk to you next time.